Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. It's great to have you in today on a Friday. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How you doing today on this Friday?
Doing great. Forward to the games this weekend and our picks. Kind of a tough week last week, but going to rebound here and pick them right this time.
Well, we're improving. I think this week, the first quarter of the season, you can't really, good teams could be bad teams shock other teams like we just saw against the Packers and the Cleveland Browns. So I think things are going to even out. We're going to know who's terrible. We're going to know who's great this week, especially because there's a lot of games where it can really determine how teams will turn out. And I think we just saw that last night, what a good team looks like and what an okay team looks like. And that's the first topic that we're going to start with today, which is indeed last night's game, Thursday Night Football between the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. And the Seahawks were just barely able to hold on last night against the Cardinals after being up big about a quarter way through the fourth quarter. And then all of a sudden, the Arizona Cardinals started to come back. And then ultimately, it basically led to a 52-yard game-winning field goal by Jason Myers in order for the Seattle Seahawks to pull away after looking very dominant throughout the game. Kyler Murray, 2 interceptions on the day. Sam Darnold has done pretty well for himself so far in Seattle after not knowing if he would be an upgrade over Geno Smith. So overall, I want to know what your reaction to last night's game was.
I was surprised by this game in the beginning. The Cardinals were actually favored up until the day before the game, right? They had the point spread going the Cardinals' way, and late it switched over to the Seahawks, and I think we both thought, the Seahawks are going to win the game. Seahawks have had the Cardinals' number now for several years. This will be their eighth. This was their 8th win in a row against the Cardinals. The Seahawks had the better defense. Their defense is ranked 11th versus the Cardinals 24th, and on offense, the Seahawks are ranked 14th to 332 yards a game versus the Cardinals at 26th, only 270 yards a game. It seemed pretty clear that the Seahawks were the better team. And that was borne out through most of the game. And the Cardinals started very slow. And it was 20-6 midway through the fourth quarter, as you mentioned, when Murray started getting things going. He hit Harrison with a 16-yard TD score to make it 20-13. And then Myers missed a 53-yard field goal that gave the Cardinals really good field position, and Murray drove them down again for another score with 33 seconds left, and it looked like it was going to be overtime. The Seahawks, they got great field position, and it was a huge mistake by the Cardinals. And Ryland, remember him? He's the former Patriots kicker who couldn't make any field goals. Well, now he can't kick it into the landing zone, and that gave the Seahawks the ball on the 40-yard line with the 33 seconds left, and Darnold immediately threw a 22-yard pass to Njigba, and a couple plays later, Myers on again. This time he hit a 52-yarder to win it. So, I think the Cardinals they made a big mistake there with that kickoff for a penalty. And then giving up that big pass play. As you said, Darnold, he's looking great. He's picking up right where he did last year when he was with Minnesota, 18 for 26, 242 yards, a TD. Walker had a good game on the ground, 19 for 81. Charbonnet also 12 for 39 and a TD. Njigba 4 for 79. Cooper Kupp, we're not hearing his name too much. They paid pretty big money to get him. He had 4 receptions for 26 yards. Total yards, 384, right what they've been doing in their 11th ranking. Murray, 27 of 41, 200 yards, 2 TDs, but 2 interceptions. Key interception. One of them was he threw it right to the guy. The second one wasn't so much his mistake. It was Harrison juggling the ball, put it right up there for grabs, and the guy grabbed it. Murray, he was the leading rusher, 5 for 41 yards. Benson had 8 for 35. Harrison, the leading receiver, 6 for only 66 yards and a TD. McBride had 7 for 52. They were right where they were in their defense, ranked down there at 24th, 253 yards. So the game played out as we thought it would. It was closer at the end than I thought it would be, but the Seahawks win and cover.
And that's exactly what I was hoping for. And I actually got nervous once they got that late stop and it was up to, Kyler and company to go down. I was a little nervous about the fact that the Seahawks wouldn't cover, and then they ultimately tied. I'm like, oh no. If this goes into overtime, I don't feel good about my chances to actually cover the point spread here, but thank the Cardinals' bad defensive strategy and Chad Ryland being, a mess again. By the way, that's a Bill Belichick 4th-round pick, I might add. 4th-round pick. My reaction is Sam Darnold, he has sort of gone away from his seeing ghosts. He'll never live it down, but he's gone away from the Jets and the early Panthers, Sam Darnold, and really has sort of become a pretty decent starting quarterback. Will he ever make it into the top 10 and be a true top 10 who we think is amongst the quarterbacks who are normally in that list? No, but can he be a serviceable quarterback who can give you a playoff opportunity? And if things get lucky, maybe a playoff win? I think, yeah. Because what we saw last year was he got obliterated in the first round. The Rams defense just absolutely cooked anything the Vikings offensive line tried to do. But Sam Darnold led a Vikings team to 14-3 after we thought that they would probably be the last team in the NFC North, and they were literally 1 win away from being the number 1 seed in the NFC. So Sam Darnold can be a very good quarterback, and thus far he has played at a very effective level. They didn't also ask him to do too much. They relied heavily on the running game with Charbonnet and with K9, so he has that ability. And then their defense under Mike Macdonald has been absolutely incredible. Because if we remember, he was the DC of the Baltimore Ravens a couple years ago, and he did a tremendous job. And then, he basically came over to Seattle, who just had a terrible defense, nearly bottom of the league, and made them average. And now they look really, really good. They're the 5th highest scoring team offensively and the 4th best scoring team defensively. So to have a top 5 in both those categories, the Seahawks are a team to be reckoned with right now. But this, to me, says much more about the Arizona Cardinals. Because what we saw to open up this game was Kyler Murray, largely ineffective, threw 2 horrendous interceptions, should have had 3. Julian Love broke up a pass, and it was right through his hands. He sort of dropped it, so we should have had a 3-interception game. The second one, again, that's on Marvin Harrison. Should have caught it, didn't. Bobbling, juggling it, did have a good touchdown catch. But ultimately, I think this really says a lot about the Cardinals. And what I find interesting is the Cardinals hired their head coach, who was the DC of the Eagles a couple years ago when they had a really, really great defense. And he took away his defensive play calling to give it to his own DC. So what is his role? Because I think we needed to see the old Eagles defense, because on the very last drive when they needed to stop the Seahawks from going 20, 30 yards, they sent out 4 safeties and was playing prevent for some reason. All the Seahawks needed to do was literally just run to get 5 or 6 yards, 3 or 4 yards to set up a Jason Myers field goal. Instead, they did a Buffalo Bills 13 seconds and played prevent because they were worried, with 18 seconds and 1 timeout, that they were going to go all the way down and throw it beyond you and score a touchdown when all they needed was a field goal to beat you? I think it was bad defensive game planning and game calling, because ultimately Sam Darnold looked effective. They didn't really get to him that often. He seemed to be relatively calm. There were open passing lanes. They tried to take JSN away, but the running lanes were available. K9 had a couple of good runs. He had one that was a really long one, very, very late in the game. But this falls on really two people. Kyler Murray, 2 bad interceptions, should have been a 3rd one. Again, the second one, we're going to blame Marvin Harrison. That's the second person I have to blame. Marvin Harrison. We could say, yeah, he had a great touchdown catch, but where has he been all season? There were several throws where I don't know if it was out of frustration, miscommunication, or something's wrong, because it seemed like a lot of Kyler Murray's targets to Marvin Harrison were short, way off target, or he juggled it and then in the arms of a defender. Not many plus plays when it came to Marvin Harrison. He was in his own head, lack of confidence, I'm not sure, but he was supposed to be the 6'4", 6'5" guy who's going to go up and catch a bunch of contested passes and really make himself a superstar and potentially be the X factor of this Cardinals offense, and he hasn't lived up to it. He had solid rookie numbers in his rookie season. I'm trying to find the numbers here. He had like 62 catches for 885 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's a solid rookie season for a receiver, especially with a Cardinals offense that nobody really thinks is that dominant. He was supposed to take that next step. Kyler Murray, he was supposed to be a really good quarterback, but he's an athletic quarterback who is small, so he should be using his legs more. That's what Russell Wilson did early in his career. And we knew that Kyler Murray, because he threw a bad pick 6 against the Rams in that one playoff game, and he got hit so badly that he said that he didn't like being hit. So then what we saw was he stopped running altogether. He had one really good run. Why doesn't he use his legs more? He's an athletic quarterback. He uses his athleticism just in the pocket to get around defenders. I would like to see him use his athleticism to go down the field, not just left and right.
Yeah. Well, he's had one ACL injury. Yeah.
So
probably doesn't want to get another one.
We've seen Lamar Jackson have injuries. Joe Burrow uses athleticism when necessary.
Yeah, he
had
did
an ACL
have 5
injury.
rushes for 40. He was the leading rusher for them, 41 yards.
Well, he had one 29-yard run, I think.
Yeah, it was a nice run.
Take away that one big carry, and it's like he's not really doing much athletically.
Yeah. The Cardinals, I think the NFC West is one of the strongest divisions in football now,
it has
right?
been over several years at this point, yeah.
And this year, too, with Seattle playing much better than I thought they would.
They're
they're
only
3-1
division
now.
to not have a losing record in their division.
Yeah.
Everybody's 500 or better.
Yeah.
So they are again the best division in football. I think we would have given that to the AFC West last year with the Broncos, the Chargers, and then the Kansas City Chiefs, because they had they had 3 teams make the playoffs last season. So they were definitely the best
3 teams make the playoffs from the NFC West.
I think that we have to put that into consideration, because the 49ers are 3-0. Seahawks are very, very, true playoff contenders at a 3-1 record. And then the Rams look good. Rams should be 3-0 right now.
Right.
They should be if, they didn't let Jordan Davis run 62 yards after he blocked the field goal. So
they blocked 2 field goals.
Well, yeah, it's ridiculous. That game still bothers me.
But the Rams historically the last 2 years have started very slow.
Yeah, they had 1-7 last year.
Yeah,
they
So given that they're off to a good start, that could be bode very well for them.
Hey, I was impressed with the Seahawks. We're talking about Sam Darnold. This is someone who, as Patriots fans, we saw him in that one game, threw for like 4 interceptions, and he literally said on the sideline, "I'm seeing ghosts." He can never live that down. And now all of a sudden, he was okay on the Panthers, never great. And now coming over to the Seattle Seahawks, we thought, okay, is he an upgrade over Geno Smith?
Looks to be right now.
He seems to be right now.
Although Geno's playing well, it just has no help.
Whoa, 4 touchdowns, 4 picks. He had a 3-interception game against the Chargers.
Yeah, but he has no
ugly.
running game. He has 0 running game.
Well, Ashton Genty's been a disappointment. And I had weird feelings after seeing him against Penn State it was the playoff game, where he could not run the ball at all. No openings, no nothing, no real big positive plays. Penn State shut him down. And that was like, well, how great is Ashton Genty going to be? I still have him going at 6th overall because, again, I want to be right over feelings. But
I have him as Rookie of the Year.
You do have
offense,
him not looking good for you for your
not,
pick right
not
now.
looking so good right now.
Also, your MVP is basically out for the year.
Oh, for the year, yeah.
Basically,
so,
3 months.
Good.
Yeah, so it's
I should be able to pick another person.
Well,
another player.
We'll give you one. Yeah.
Okay, I'll think about it.
We'll give you another MVP. I mean,
I'll
right
wait
now,
a couple more weeks and then I'll pick one.
Right now, it looks like it's going to be Justin.
I got
Herbert
a question for you.
Sure.
And I may have missed this. Is there a rule change now that you have to kick the ball in the landing zone? You can't kick it into the end zone anymore.
They don't want touchbacks all the time.
There's
so
all
you have to get
touchbacks last year.
Well, what's funny is I don't know what the Cardinals said to Ryland, but he was kicking it at like the Seattle 8, the Seattle 4, the Seattle 1 on their goal line. All of a sudden, this kick, it was at their 21. Just do what he normally did. Pin him back. And if it gets in the end zone, it's on the 35 still. But instead, you had that costly error.
Yeah.
Just to what? Hopefully they muff it once it squibs towards them instead of just kicking it at the 1. Their average starting field position is on the 28.
I really think that play cost them the game.
100%. And then just the conservative defensive game, the defensive calling on that final drive.
I mean, if they started at the 25, they only had to go 20 yards to get in field goal.
That's all
range.
they needed to do, and all of a sudden,
and they did.
Ball game.
Yeah.
All right, speaking about some great matchups and shocking outcomes, let's talk about this one. This is probably the match of the week, although I think just with the hype around it, you could argue Micah's return to Dallas would probably be the biggest game. That's on Sunday Night Football. But at 4:25 on CBS on Sunday, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a hell of a matchup. The Chiefs looking nothing like they normally do. While the Ravens' defense is atrocious, the Ravens' offense is always good. But this is a matchup of history. Lamar Jackson has struggled mightily against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. One singular win, while Mahomes has 5. And I have the head-to-head data, which I'll talk about during my take. But this has not been a favorable matchup for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. They can't get over this hump, including playoffs, including regular season. The last time we saw these teams was week 1 of last year. And I'll get into what exactly happened on that final drive. But this is a matchup to really prove who basically needs this win more, because the Chiefs are reeling and the Ravens defense is atrocious. So here's my question to you. Based on division ramifications, based on playoff implications and potential seeding, and also morale, because I think both these teams are really down right now, which team do you think needs this win more, the Baltimore Ravens or the Kansas City Chiefs?
I think the Chiefs. I really do. I think because they played so poorly and on offense, and they had the injuries at wide receiver, and they have no running game. They got to win this. They got to find a way to win this game, and then try to make some improvement, get some players back. They'll have. They have Worthy. I think he may play in this game, but he's going to be rusty. You get him back, and then Rice is coming back after his suspension on week 7. So I really think that the Chiefs, they played poorly. They're going to be 1-3 if they lose this game. Both teams would be 1-3 if either team loses, and that's a deep hole when you're counting on being a Super Bowl contender. I say even though the Chiefs are at home, I'm liking the Ravens in this one. I think Detroit beat the Ravens on the strength of their running game, which is outstanding, and their ability to slow down Henry and sack Jackson. I don't think the Chiefs have any running game to speak of, and I doubt that they will sack Jackson 7 times, even though their defense is ranked number 11. And the Chiefs' offense has sputtered, struggling to score 20 points a game because they have no running game, and Worthy has been hurt, and Rice is out on suspension, and the defense can tee off on Mahomes because they know they're not going to run it. And Mahomes can't do it alone, and the Ravens have too many weapons on offense. The mitigating factor is the Ravens' defense, which is ranked 32nd right now, allowing 415 yards a game. They gave up a lot of yards to Detroit. It's currently constructed. I don't think the Chiefs have the horses to beat the Ravens.
Well, I actually disagree with you. I think this has to be more of a Ravens. This has to be a win more for the Ravens. They need to care about it way more than the Chiefs do. Because we don't expect the Ravens, with this roster, with the amount of talent on this roster, to be this bad. On paper, the Ravens should blow them out of the water. Because besides a quarterback, and even maybe right now at quarterback, the Ravens are better in every facet. Travis Kelce looks slow and old. They don't have a better receiving core. Their defense on paper is better. They have a better running back group.
Bad right now.
Offensive line, I think they have a better offensive line. The Ravens do.
Yeah.
At certain positions, no, but about overall offensive line, I think it's better because Mahomes does not trust those 2 tackles, and Jawan Taylor is a penalty machine with his illegal formations and his false starts and whatnot. But no, I think the Ravens desperately need this more because if we look at the data in the history of the Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes matchups, Mahomes wins outright every single time. He's 5-1, but the numbers, Patrick Mahomes blows him out of the water. 72% completion percentage, 344 total yards per game. Yards per pass, it's not even really close. Turnovers and touchdowns, Mahomes is 15-3 to Lamar's 9-7. Passer rating, it's a 114 basically, while Lamar has an 80. So Lamar has played poorly, and the last time these teams matched up, there was a lot of controversy because the very end of the game, I don't know if you remember, I'll walk you through it. On the final 3 plays of the game, it was a sail pass to Isaiah Likely, which I said that he should just ripped it to him. He was wide open, and he actually ended up getting hurt and had to sit for a play. Then the following one, he threw it randomly in between receivers, but Zay Flowers was wide open, so it completely missed. That's another missed 7 points. And then it was the Isaiah Likely's big toe was out of bounds. At the very end of the game, 4 seconds left, he throws it. He's out of bounds with no time remaining on the clock. So that was 21. I know it was only 7, but there was 3 straight opportunities for touchdowns. Lamar sailed the pass where he should, just threw it on a line. Then there was a weird, I don't know if there's a miscommunication, but he threw it in between his running back and Zay Flowers, and then Isaiah Likely's big toe was out of bounds. So there were opportunities for the Ravens to tie it up, and honestly, they were going for the win because you could see on the sideline John Harbaugh saying go for 2. So they still could have lost the game potentially, but they did lose 27-20. But I'm a little bit nervous because Todd Monken against the Chiefs has called some weird games. The very last one, which is the one I talked about week 1 of last year, wasn't too bad. But remember the playoff game where the Chiefs had a really good pass defense and a poor run defense, and Todd Monken called up a pass-first offense where Lamar was dancing in the pocket and not really scrambling. I think they had 8 total carries of running backs. I mean, it was a completely strange game plan that fed into the strength of the Chiefs and not into the strength of your own team. So I thought that was a little weird. And last week, it was even weirder because Todd Monken was calling 40-yard bombs on 1st and 2nd and 10, where all you need is a 3-yard pass to keep the chains moving, keep the clock moving, and instead you kept throwing these bombs and bombs and bombs, and Lamar was getting killed in the backfield, and you also needed to dance and try to, do some, magic. He was hesitating a lot. It just didn't look like a confident offense against the Detroit Lions, plus having a QB spy execute beautifully against Lamar, who was just hanging out in the pocket. I thought it was a great strategy on the side of the Lions, but no, this game has to be much more about the Ravens because we expect the Chiefs. We know what their issue is. The Ravens, it's really inexplicable how poor they've been. Like you mentioned, total defense, they're 32nd. Now, the second worst scoring defense, but this is the number 1 scoring offense. So this is basically 2 sides of the extremes. You have the best scoring offense who has the best efficiency, but that means you throw your defense out there more because your offense scores so fast. So then the defense tires out, they're going to let up a bunch of points and yards. So this has to be on John Harbaugh. It has to be on Zach Orr, the defensive coordinator, who has done a very, very bad job. We'll see what Jair Alexander, if he plays in this game. Maybe, maybe not, although last time we saw him, he got cooked. So I don't know if that's a good idea to have him out there. Todd Monken has to play into the Ravens' strength. So have Derrick Henry maybe need to put some stickum on his arm to hold down the football because they'll definitely be trying to go for a fumble or a strip on Derrick Henry, who's fumbled in 3 straight games. I think if you get to Lamar, if you pressure him a lot, I think he'll go back to hesitating. And if Todd Monken calls a bad game, this is going to be in the Chiefs' favor. But I think just out of pure desperation, and it just feels like, just look at the numbers again. The Ravens are due for something. So I do have the Ravens winning. I do not feel confident at all. But just because on paper the Ravens beat them out in basically every single position, and they have a much better offense, while the Chiefs were scratching their heads like, well, we know the personnel is bad, but this is really bad. The Giants had opportunities to win the game last week against the Chiefs, but because Russell Wilson was too busy hitting the goalpost instead of his receivers' hands, they ended up losing.
No, I think I agree with a lot of what you say, but I think if the Chiefs go 1-3 with the talent that they have this year, which is less than they've had, and they're getting older, you have Travis Kelce, the oldest tight end, starting tight end in the league. You have no running game. You have the wide receivers all banged up all the time. You have Tyquan Thornton as the leading receiver last week. With only 71 yards. I think they've got to win this game because they don't have an easy schedule.
No.
And if they're 1-3, it's going to be tough for them to even make the playoffs. They're not an easy division. It's a tough division.
Well, this year, not so much.
Yeah, well, they have the Chargers are in their division.
That's true. No, I think that they go 1-3.
The Chargers are in their division.
If they go 1-3, winning the division is nearly impossible because I do think that the Chargers, they play the Giants this week, so we assume it's going to be 4-0. The Commanders, will Jaden Daniels be healthy enough, and Terry McLaurin, will he be healthy enough to go? I still think, though, with that defense, maybe not a 100% Jaden Daniels, they have a very good opportunity to win that game. Then they go play at Miami. Miami is horrible right now. One. But they also play the Vikings, who we'll see what J.J. McCarthy looks like, but the defense is really good. They play the Titans. They play the Steelers, who, by the way, Rodgers is the second worst quarterback under pressure. The Chargers are great at pressuring the quarterback. They play the Jaguars, the Raiders. They have a bit of an easier, harder schedule with the Eagles and the Chiefs again. But then it's the Cowboys who are the worst pass defense, the Texans who can't figure out anything, and they wrap it up with the Denver Broncos.
I think the Chargers will win the division this year.
Oh, I think it's set in stone.
Who are the Chiefs? What's their schedule?
The Kansas City Chiefs, after playing the Ravens, we'll see exactly what this is. They play the Jaguars. That should be a win. Yeah. The Detroit Lions.
That's going to be a very hard game.
I agree. The Raiders.
They'll win that one.
The Commanders, week 8.
That'll be close.
At Buffalo. Buffalo always beats them in Buffalo.
Yeah.
They always win in the regular season. The Buffalo Bills do. At Denver, will Bo Nix figure out what the hell's going on at that time? I don't know. He's the worst graded quarterback in the NFL. Colts, Indiana Jones. He's cooking right now. Who knows?
Indiana Jones.
Cowboys as well.
Cowboys, I think they'll beat them.
Yeah, I think Texans, they'll blow them out of the water. Chargers, we already said probably not.
I don't think they'll win that.
Titans, Broncos, Raiders.
So they
They're going to hover around 500, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I will say this, though.
They got them in this game, and I don't think they will. I'm picking the Ravens.
I will say, if the Chiefs do get eliminated from the playoffs, or let's say before they play on Week 18, if they're already out of playoff contention, so Week 18 doesn't matter if they win or lose. If we talk about the GOAT debate, Brady never played a snap in his entire career while already being eliminated from the playoffs. Just going to put that out there. Because in 2002, they didn't make the playoffs, but when they took the field and Brady played, they still had a shot at making the playoffs. So
I think Mahomes' chances of outshining Brady for his career went up in smoke in the Super Bowl last year, the way they played. Terrible.
Maybe. But, I think the Ravens have to have this. They're due. I think that this has to be a Ravens win. Because if the Chiefs beat them when they're playing this poorly, what does that say for the morale of the next time they potentially play? They were at their absolute worst. The defense, it was 11th, but not really that dominant. Their offense was really, really bad. Mahomes and the receivers in the running game, they weren't connecting on any level, and we still lost? Then it's like, how the hell are we going to beat them? Let's say they do play in the divisional round. How are they going to beat them? How will you have the morale to say, no, we got them this time? I can't see, the level of confidence being, we could definitely beat them. When you haven't. You're 1-5, Lamar is, against the Chiefs. And I'll bring up the numbers one more time. He hasn't played well against them. Mahomes, even if Mahomes plays poorly in the regular season, we see that Mahomes gets it done against the Ravens.
Okay, well, who are you picking to win?
I have the Ravens winning.
Oh, okay.
But I don't feel confident about it whatsoever. Well, I'm just saying that this is a desperation play.
I think it'll be a close game, but I do think the Ravens are going to win this one. They don't want to go 1-3 either.
I think
their defense has got to find a way to play better. Come on.
You'd
They're
hope.
Terrible against Detroit.
You'd hope. They were also bad against the Buffalo Bills, allowing them to come back very late in the game, although the fumble by Derrick Henry didn't help.
The problem with the Chiefs, I think their biggest problems are offensive line. Their running game's terrible.
They got outgained by Joe Flacco. Their defense allowed Joe Flacco and the Browns offense to cook against them. The Cleveland Browns, who I have, they have over under 4.5 wins. I have them on the under, which just shows the level of confidence that I have in them. They shouldn't be winning games, but yet somehow they beat the Packers and got outgained. They outgained they still lost, but they outgained the Ravens. So it's a mess. All right, coming up. It was a rough week for the Harvey Hot Hand, as well as for our Week 3 picks. But this week I'm confident. If you watch Tuesday's show, you already know I put in 2 bets. I'll talk about one of them, but the Seattle Seahawks, we're technically 1-0 so far this week, but I do, just for the sake of the show and the Harvey Hot Hand, I do have 5 picks coming your way after this break, as well as we make every single pick of Week 4. We'll talk about that right after this short break.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
Whether you're just discovering your voice or taking your show to the next level, you know what the world needs to hear. All you have to do is say it. With Spotify, set up your podcast. Your food podcast. Your mindfulness podcast. Your never thought you'd get this far podcast. And watch those sparks fly.
I put a picture of the comment.
Drop the episode anywhere people listen. And find out who they're cooking with. Where they're finding inner balance. And why they love your show. You're already a creator. Now you can create, connect, and get paid for your passion with one single free tool. Spotify for podcasters. Talk where the world listens.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. It's great to have you in today on a Friday. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic of today's show, which is our weekly picks. Throughout the NFL season, we pick every single NFL game. Last week was a bit rough for me. I've had a very weird year. A lot of BS has come my way. Last week, thank God, it sort of balanced it out. But that Rams and the Harvey Hot Hand, that should have hit. If it was for Jordan Davis and his 330-pound self running 62 yards, I think, for technically game-sealing touchdown
to
there.
do it. He didn't even need to do it for them to win. The block was enough.
Exactly. So that's why I'm a little bit, ticked off about last week. But, we pick every single game, so I'll begin. Last week was a bit rough on the point spread and the wins, but ultimately, we're here. We're starting off 1-0. It's time for a full reset. We're starting 1-0 in both the point spread and the win-loss, so let's continue with morning game, Sunday. Wake up early. We have an international game. The first game played in Ireland, in Dublin. We got the Vikings at the Steelers. Give me the Vikings because they've been an ultimate international team. They're 7-0, 4-0 in regular season games, 3-0 in exhibition games. The Steelers right now, Rodgers is not great. He's looking like his age. He played poorly against the New England Patriots, and the Patriots handed them the game. Rodgers didn't play well. Meanwhile, the Vikings made an embarrassment of Jake Browning and the Cincinnati Bengals. Isaiah Rodgers now has the record for the highest PFF grade in the history of PFF. And we think of, definitely a Lamar Jackson, a Tom Brady, Mahomes has to have the highest PFF grade of all time. No, give it to Isaiah Rodgers. So I'll take the Vikings over here. Their dominance in the international games, I'll give it to them and cover the 2.5 point spread on the road, technically, in Dublin. Next one, it's the Eagles at the Buccaneers. I don't feel great about this one, but what I'm seeing is I saw an Eagles team that came back against the Los Angeles Rams after basically being shut down in the first half. I think Jalen Hurts had -1 passing yards. They tried running the football with Saquon. It just didn't work. They could not only run the football. So Jalen Hurts needed to go into his bag. People saying he can't throw the football, and he lit it up offensively and able to come back against the Rams and obviously seal it with a Jordan Davis 60-plus yard blocked kick return touchdown. So I'll also add on top of this, Chris Godwin, Tristan Wirfs might be back this week, but ultimately, I think the loss of Mike Evans kills a red zone threat for you because Mike Evans is incredible in the red zone. You give him a quick little in route. He's 6'5" and huge. He'll catch a lot in the red zone. He was one of Tom Brady's favorite targets when he was out there. I think Baker, right now, he's gone 3 for 3 on game-winning drives in under a minute so far this regular season. That's an NFL record. Do I think that'll continue against an Eagles team that should be better than it is and will play better? I don't think so. I think the streak ends now. But if Baker comes out on top, we have to consider him for at least a top 3 MVP candidate. I think right now it's Justin Herbert, Daniel Jones, and I think Baker Mayfield, if he wins this game, that should be your top 3 MVPs right there. But give me the Eagles here. They have too much firepower. The Bucs are too banged up on both sides of the ball. I'll take the Eagles in a victory on the road here and cover the -3.5 point spread. The next one, this is a massive game in point spread-wise. It's the Saints at the Buffalo Bills. Give me the Bills to win and cover the -15.5. I know it's a crazy point spread, but the Saints, they're terrible. Spencer Rattler, their starting quarterback, is winless. Not for the season, not against winning teams or any of these obscure statistics. No. He's 0-10 in his career against any team. It's bad. Tyler Shuck, when are they going to put him in? I think it should be soon. I think it should be now. Because I think the Spencer Rattler thing, it's not working out. Are you trying to win games? You're trying to get the worst record? If you keep Spencer Rattler out there, maybe you're going for the number 1 overall pick. Who knows? You have a really good opportunity to do it. But against the Buffalo Bills, I know the Bills' defense is bad. I know, it's not great. But you have Josh Allen. You have Keon Coleman, who had a great couple weeks. And then you also have James Cook, who can't be stopped. We saw him. He just ran through the defense. The Dolphins couldn't stop him whatsoever. So I think this game will be a blowout. I mean, we just saw it against the Seattle Seahawks. Their offense is the 5th highest scoring offense, but we have to realize that 44 of those points came against the Saints. I mean, you blink and it was 21-0. So I think this will be a nice, easy game for the Buffalo Bills. If they don't get complacent, if they keep their foot on the gas, this should be a massive blowout, giving the Bills to win and cover the -15.5 point spread. The next one, the Browns at the Lions. The Lions are back. I think that we always see these crazy games of a massive upset early in the season where teams are still trying to sort things out, teams with a lot of injuries or some faults that they need to work out, and that's sort of what happened last week. The Green Bay Packers shouldn't have lost that game. Jordan Love threw an inexplicable pick that got returned 23 yards, and then it was Joe Flacco's maybe easiest touchdown of his career to put them up, and then you had a game-winning field goal kick. I mean, it was crazy. That game was ridiculous. But I think the Lions right now, what we saw last week is their defense looked really good. They had a tremendous game plan against Lamar Jackson, having a QB spy. Their pass rush tormented that offensive line. And Jared Goff was very effective and very efficient. Then you also have Sonic and Knuckles, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, having 4 touchdowns total amongst the 2 of them. They each had 2 touchdowns each. So it looks like both sides of the ball are fine thus far through 3 weeks. We'll see what they look like against a pretty nice pass rush with Myles Garrett and overall really good defense. But their offense is still something to be desired. So give me the Lions here. It's a big-time point spread. They need to win by 10 or more. Give me the Lions in a big-time victory. I do think they win. They're just clicking on all cylinders right now. -9.5. I'll take the points as well. Next one, Titans at Texans. This should be, based on everything that's going right and wrong, this should be a +7.5 at least for the Titans. But the Titans are really bad. Defensively, they're bad. Offensively, they're even worse. Brian Callahan, 3 weeks, has to give up his own play calling roles to the quarterback coach. He demoted himself. What's going on in Tennessee? I'm not sure, but here's the bigger question. What's going on in Houston? Because there's some rumors percolating now that C.J. Stroud got buddy-buddy with Micah Parsons and his agent. What did Micah just do this offseason? Got himself out of Dallas. Could C.J. Stroud be playing out of a contract extension to get himself out of Houston? That's what people are saying. That's what the Athletic reports. So maybe that's why they're playing so poorly. But their offensive line's bad. I think that what we saw is this defense is still really good. It's a little banged up, but it's still very, very good. The offensive line is abysmal. Fortunately, you're playing against the Tennessee Titans, who don't have any great playmakers on both sides of the ball. So this should be a nice, easy Texans win. You could run on the Tennessee Titans. Nick Chubb should have a fine game. So I think the Houston Texans should win here. They should cover the 7.5 points bet, and I'll take the risk there. Next one, Chargers at Giants. Jim Harbaugh is great against rookie quarterbacks. He's 4-0 as the Chargers head coach against rookie quarterbacks, 8-0 overall. And especially against the spread, he's 7-3. So I will gladly take the Chargers to win and cover. They're playing Jackson Dart. This is his first game. I feel very, very unlucky and unfortunate that Jackson Dart has to go against arguably the best team in the NFL right now in the Los Angeles Chargers, hitting an absolute high note. But the Giants' secondary is not great. Their linebacking group's not great. Their pass rush is very, very disappointing. And offensively, you have a rookie quarterback, but if Russ was out there, I think it might be worse. Your running game is non-existent. Malik Neighbors is your one true threat, with Wan'Dale Robinson making a couple great catches. Your offensive line's not great, too. Although Andrew Thomas will be on a snap count, who knows? But when he was out there, he did a pretty good job with Chris Jones and the defensive front of the Kansas City Chiefs. But you took him out midway through the game, and all of a sudden, Russ was under a little bit of pressure, and things took a massive turn for the worst. So I think ultimately, though, the Chargers are at the top of their game right now. I think this is going to be an easy win again. I think Jim Harbaugh, we see some teams, maybe the Buffalo Bills, they take their foot off the gas a little bit when they're up a little bit. I think Jim Harbaugh is the type of guy who says, kick them when they're down, basically. If you're going to beat them by 50. So I think this is going to be a nice game. Besides, Omarion Hampton, it's unfortunate Najee Harris tore his Achilles, but Omarion Hampton, I think, is really going to shine, and especially against the Giants, I think he's going to shine big. So give me the charge here. Keenan Allen looks youthful. We saw him on the Bears. He looked slow. Coming back to the Chargers, like, oh, my God, the Keenan Allen of 4 years ago. He's back. Also, Quinton Johnston, who couldn't catch a cold, is now here as one of the best receivers in the NFL right now. I'm very impressed. Give me the Chargers, -6.5 on the road to cover and win. Next one. This point's been shifted after hearing that Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin will be out, but I don't think it'll matter. What the hell was that last week? Michael Penix, unable to really get it in Carolina territory. The defense, which at the time was 4th overall in the league, let Bryce Young look like a really good quarterback after a lot of people thought he should be benched already, and he looking like a massive 1st overall pick bust, which he might still look, but first, maybe, he's put up some numbers so far, and against the Atlanta Falcons, he looked really good. I think right now it doesn't matter. Think about this. Geno Smith had probably the quietest great game you could ever have, and they still lost by like 20 points. Marcus Mariota, I think he'll have another very, very effective game here. They have 2 really young, good running backs who made some great plays last week, the Commanders, and I think their defense is going to do an okay job against the Falcons team, which doesn't have a lot of firepower to begin with. I think Michael Penix going out there again, it didn't look good. I'll take the Commanders +2.5. This was 1.5 for the Commanders, but point spread flipped today. I'll take the Commanders +2.5 to upset the Falcons on the road. They're just a better team. They're better coached. Give me the better coached and more structured team this week. Next one, Panthers at Patriots. This is a can't lose. You can't lose if you're the New England Patriots, because this will look really, really bad because you are the better team. You have one of the best pass rushes in the NFL. Christian Gonzalez is ramping it up. Will he make an appearance? Who knows? Probably not. I don't love last week. I saw Marcus Jones getting cooked. I've said this now for like 2 years. Marcus Jones is a nice, cool utility guy. Great in special teams. Stop putting him one-on-one against 6'3" receivers when he's 5'8". He will get cooked, as he has a lot of his career. But I think, the pass rush is still great. Drake May looks okay. I still want to see more from him. Ramondre Stevenson better not be running back one this week. It better be Travion Henderson because he has a fumble issue. He has a massive fumble, second most fumbles in the NFL since he came into the league. So I hope the Patriots can figure out a way to beat the Carolina Panthers, who are not a good football team. They're flat out not. So for the love of God, the Patriots have to figure it out. This was 2.5. Now it's 5.5. So Patriots better win this one. I'll have them covering the minus 5.5 point spread. They need to win big here. They literally handed the game away to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Some bad plays in the red zone, fumbles on the goal line. It was really bad. All right. People are saying, well, the Colts are frauds. What are they? Maybe. But this is the week to really determine whether or not they're at least not maybe the best team in the NFL or close to it or Daniel Jones MVP, but this will be a telltale sign of where the Colts will be. Because if you go up against the Los Angeles Rams and continue being as dominant as you have, the Colts are a very, very good team. They're a top 5 team, maybe top 3 team in the NFL. If you go out against the Rams and beat them in Los Angeles, and I do have them covering, but I think that ultimately the Rams are just a little bit better. I think they're a little bit better coached. They have a better defense. Maybe not as an effective offense because I think the Colts still technically are number 1 in EPA and EPA per play. Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, has been great so far this season. I still think he should be in MVP consideration and comeback player of the year consideration. So I think ultimately the Colts, I think, will cover. But I do expect the Rams to win here. They're technically the better team. I have more confidence in their pass rush getting to Daniel Jones. But I can't exactly write the Colts off yet. I think this game will be relatively close here. Give me the Colts to cover the plus 3.5, but the Rams ultimately get the win here. Next one, Jacksonville Jaguars against Brock Purdy's comeback and the San Francisco 49ers. Mac Jones did a great job holding down the fort, a couple game-winning drives here and there. He played very, very well. He was like the second most attempts per game and 5th most yards per game when he was out there, which is crazy. They didn't exactly hide the playbook and narrow it down. He was throwing 40 times a game. And you know what? They went 2-0 with a game-winning drive last week when Mac Jones looked great. He looked really, really good. And this time, going against the Jacksonville Jaguars, where Brian Thomas is making business decisions, and Travis Hunter, where is he? I don't know. Can't see him. Can't find him. He's doing next to nothing. And Trevor Lawrence, if you look at it, targeting Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter, it's a sub-passer rating than if you just kept throwing it in the dirt. That's how bad it's been. So this offense, Trevor Lawrence has not earned his $55 million per year. He hasn't played great. Meanwhile, the 49ers, yes, they lost Nick Bosa to an ACL tear. That's unfortunate. But ultimately, I think the offense will be good enough. Good enough. Juwan Jennings, I think, is supposed to be back as well. So they're getting a couple pieces back. Apparently, Brandon Ayuk is nowhere near close to coming back. So we'll see. But McCaffrey seems to be doing a fine job. We worried about his injuries and whatnot. I think he's doing just a good enough job. He's back. He's doing just fine. Give me the 49ers. I think this is a relatively easy point spread to cover. Give me the 49ers -3 to cover and win. Next one, Ravens at Chiefs. This is a must-win for the Baltimore Ravens. There's no other way to put it. The Ravens, they've been terrible against Kansas City Chiefs. Lamar's 1-5 against Mahomes, and Mahomes outplayed him every which way. I do not want to see another weird game plan from Todd Monken. Make it easy for your superstar quarterback. Yes, he has a great athletic ability. Let that be a nice topping to a great game instead of a necessity. I think he has great skill all around throwing the ball. He's becoming a more well-rounded quarterback. He can make some great throws. And he's actually the best. I believe he has the best pass rating within the pocket. So he's a great pocket passer. But don't have him rely on passing the football. Let him use his athletic ability to scramble. I should see 8 scrambles from Lamar Jackson. That's what I should be expecting. Have him use his legs. Keep the clock moving. Keep the chains moving. Stop sending 40-yard bombs and drawing plays up like that on 1st and 2nd and 10. There's no need for it. 3-4-yard passes will do just fine. This is a desperation pick here. The Ravens desperately need to get a win here, and I do think they will. They will cover the 2.5 point spread in Kansas City because the Chiefs, they're not looking like the Kansas City Chiefs. Like this is a really bad version of the Chiefs, which they definitely don't look like Super Bowl contenders. They don't right now even look like playoff contenders, which is crazy to think with Mahomes at quarterback. So give me the Ravens in a victory over the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. Next one, the Bears at the Raiders. I found this interesting that the Raiders are favored at home against the Bears, who just put up a great performance against the Dallas Cowboys. And then it hit me. Oh, they're playing the Dallas Cowboys, who just let Caleb Williams go 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, and made basically every single offense look really, really good. That's not going to happen this week. I think Geno Smith will do just a fine job. The Bears have some really bad injuries on the defensive side. I think that the Raiders need to figure out their defense. Both defenses aren't great. Both offenses, the Raiders have a really, really bad offense. They need to figure out a way to run the ball, and I do think they'll have more success against the Chicago Bears this week. Geno Smith's got to figure it out. Trey Tucker, I think he had, 3 touchdowns last week against the Commanders? He's coming out really, really nicely. Jacoby Myers is still a very, very effective receiver. And I will say it again. I said it once, but I will say it again. Why did Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell really bring out Brock Bowers in this year? I know he's dealing with an injury, but he doesn't look like near himself. He doesn't look like anything close to the dominant player we saw last year. They have to get him going at some point. I think they will. Given the Rays, a lot of people are picking the Bears. I'll take the Rays in this one. I'll go out on a limb here. Hopefully they'll pressure Caleb Williams, force him into some mistakes here, which he hasn't done like the last, 10, 11 games, something like that. So I'll take maybe the shocking pick. Give me the Raiders, -1.5 at home. Give me the win here. Next one, Packers at the Dallas Cowboys. I haven't heard a single person saying the Cowboys even have a shot. This is Micah Parsons' revenge game. They just had a really bad outing against the Cleveland Browns. The Cowboys couldn't stop Caleb Williams. They really can't stop anybody this year. They have the worst pass defense in the NFL. You can just go on and on and on about the Cowboys' faults this season. So I don't think this is much of a difficult pick at all. Give me the Packers in a big-time victory over the Dallas Cowboys. This could look like that wild card game we saw a couple years ago, where the game was just absolutely out of reach basically from the get-go. And obviously, you look at the numbers. I think, Dak had like 400 yards in that game. It was all like in garbage time because the Packers were just so far up. They scored like 40 points, and the Cowboys were like at 10, so they had to slowly come back. But I expect this to be a blowout. Give me the Packers in a big-time victory over the Dallas Cowboys. 2 Monday night games, Jets and Dolphins. I'm taking the Jets here. Justin Fields seems to be back. He's slowly getting back from his concussion, but I think you should put out Tyrod Taylor because he operates this offense a little bit better. He was that close. Obviously, it was a blocked field goal, but still, he led an all-right game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and nearly, beat them if it wasn't for the Jets' defensive downfall at the very end of the game. Let Baker drive right down the field and ultimately win. But no, I think the Dolphins, the way they're playing right now, the defense isn't good. The offensive line's not great. Tyreek Hill and Tua and Mike McDaniel, that trio right now, it's definitely in some hot water here. They don't trust each other. You have Mike McDaniel and Tua, battling it out at the podium over scheme and responsibility and blame and whatnot. It's a complete mess. The Dolphins right now, they're reeling. Give me the Jets in an upset. I put upset in quotes because I don't believe this is going to be much of an upset. I think the Jets are just the better team. Give me the Jets over the Miami Dolphins in Miami. They cover the +2.5 points, but obviously. And finally, the Cincinnati Bengals at the Denver Broncos. The Broncos defense has been shockingly porous, one might say. And Bo Nix right now is the lowest graded quarterback in the NFL. That's an issue. But what I also know is historically, Sean Payton, even with Drew Brees, he hasn't been a great September head coach. So I think they'll pick it up midway through the year and, they'll figure it out. But Bo Nix has been playing poorly. I like Bo Nix. I was very, very, high on Bo Nix coming into the draft here, but he needs to figure it out. It looks bad. He had a great game against the Colts, and at the very end, he threw a really bad interception, but you have to gain momentum, get a couple first downs, keep the clock moving, keep the chains moving, put a little confidence into your team, and I think with the defense, we just saw Jake Browning in this offense, the Cincinnati Bengals offense, get smoked by Isaiah Rodgers. Now just imagine what the Denver Broncos defense is going to do to Jake Browning, because we expected the Minnesota Vikings defense to be good. Not that good. Not like they allowed the Vikings offense plus their defense because of the defensive touchdowns. The Vikings put 40 points against the Bengals. I think this defense is a little bit better, or should be better than the Minnesota Vikings defense. The offense should be very, very good. Unfortunately, it's not the level we expected, but I got to give it to the Broncos here. It's a massive point spread. I have no massive point spread coverages whatsoever, but I got to give it to the Broncos. The Bengals, they look like a shell of themselves without Joe Burrow, and the Bengals keep saying, we're not going to get a veteran quarterback. We believe in Jake Browning. Did anyone see last week? Is anyone going to look at this week? I think they should go get a veteran quarterback, because right now there's a couple. There's Russell Wilson. There's Kirk Cousins. There's a couple options out there if you want to stabilize the quarterback position. And Russ says there's more left in the tank. It's running on E. The little bar is broken. You got to tap it. Bring it back on E. Russ still thinks there's much. I don't believe there is, based on the performance I've seen over the last 5 years. But those are my picks for Week 4. A lot of confidence in them. Start off 1-0. That's what we'd like to see to start off the week.
We have some interesting analysis there, Nate, and I agree with a lot of your picks. There's a few differences between us, and I'd like to get into it and discuss them.
There you go. Let's start with your picks. Week 4.
Okay, here we go. The Vikings versus the Steelers in Dublin. It'll be fun to watch that one on Sunday morning. I think the Falcons beat the Vikings with their running game. I doubt the Steelers can do the same. The Falcons are 6th in run offense with 139 yards per game, and the Steelers are 31st with 63 yards per game. I don't think that Arthur Smith, even though he's a big run guru, is going to be able to dial up something that will beat the Falcons with the running game. Even though the Falcons' run defense is not that great, I just don't see the Steelers being able to do that. And the lack of the Steelers' run game has hurt Aaron Rodgers, I think, a lot. I mean, they don't really have to worry too much about play action. They can continue to tee off on him. And even when he fakes it to the running back, they know he's not going to give it to the running back because their running game is so poor, ranked 31st. And that's hurt the passing game, which is also ranked low at 24th. So the Steelers' offense, very poor so far. They won't get it going, I don't think, against the Vikings' defense, which ranks 6th, 3rd in pass defense and 22nd in run defense. I guess that was the only option, and the Falcons took advantage of it. But as I said, I don't think the Steelers can. Steelers' only chance, I think, is to force a lot of turnovers like they did against the Patriots. But I don't see Minnesota turning the ball over that much. They're much more disciplined than the Patriots, and I don't think they'll turn it over with even Carson Wentz at running the team. He's going to be a game manager, and I think the Vikings win and cover. Moving on to the Eagles versus the Bucs. The Bucs won easily last year's matchup, and the Bucs haven't lost a game at home since way back in 2024. So they've got that going for them. But I don't think it's going to happen this year, and they are too banged up with Godecki and Mausch and Evans out. And that's more problems for the offensive line. Even with Wirfs and Godwin coming back, I still think the Bucs are overmatched talent-wise by the Eagles. That said, Mayfield has a chance at the end of the game maybe to try to pull out a win, which is reflected in the close point spread, I think. And he's been successful the last 3 weeks, pulling out wins at the very end, setting an NFL record doing it. The Bucs haven't lost at home, as I said, as early in 2024, so I expect it to be close. But the Eagles, I think, are healthier, the healthier team, which I think will be the difference. Saints at Buffalo, the 15.5-point spread. I like the Bills. Bills have the edge all 3 phases of the game. The Saints' only chance is maybe on quick throws, where the Bills allow the most TDs and 7th highest passer rating. But can Spencer Rattler do that? I don't think so. Josh Allen is reigning MVP and playing like he could win another one. Spencer Rattler is 0-9 as an NFL starting quarterback. Saints defense, 25th in points allowed, will be picked apart, I think, by in the air by Allen and on the ground by James Cook. So I like the Buffalo win and to cover. The Browns at the Lions. The Browns have a great defense, allowing only 147 passing yards per game and 57 rushing yards per game. However, the offense ranks 27th with only 4.4 yards per game. The Lions played a great on the road against the Ravens, with the offense scoring 38 points with a great running game and efficient, accurate passing game. The new offensive coordinator, Scotty Moore, has improved the play calling, and they are much improved since the opener against Green Bay. Joe Flacco, he's a statue out there, and will have trouble against the Lions defense that is ranked 14th, 16th in passing, and 11th in rushing. The Lions are at home. I think they're going to win this game and cover. Titans at Texans. The Titans have no offense. Let's admit it. Ward has 15 sacks, 5.1 yards per pass attempt, 3.6 yards per play. I mean, their offense is just horrible. Houston isn't much better with only 4 red zone drives in 3 games this year so far, and they haven't scored a TD when they got in the red zone. So both offenses pretty bad. Both teams have pretty strong defenses. The Titans are tied for 4th in takeaways with 5. Houston has a top 5 scoring defense, only 17 points per game. Brian Callahan, as you said, handed the play calling to the quarterback coach, Bo Hardegray. Houston cut safety Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Maybe a statement there to the rest of the defense. Come on, we got to get it going. Houston was a playoff team last year and can't afford to go 0-4 and expect to get to the playoffs this year. So I think they're going to find a way to win. That 7.5 point spread bothers me a little bit, but I'm going with it. The Chargers at the Giants. You remember that John Mara said last year, after the season ended, he gave them a mandate for improvement that he said better not take too long because I've just about run out of patience. He'll be disappointed this week, I think, because the Giants are not in the same class as the Chargers. The total defense, Chargers number 8, Giants 31st. How bad is that? With the players that they went out and got, Abdul Carter, their high draft pick, 31st in defense. Total offense, the Chargers 6th, the Giants 12th. The Chargers have one of the best quarterbacks, I think, in Herbert, who is having his best season. He's putting them on their back, and even with their problems on offense, offensive line injuries, Herbert is standing in there under sometimes lots of pressure, delivering strikes, and I just think as you said, he's in the MVP discussion. I think rightfully so. The Giants are starting rookie Jason Dart this week. Harbaugh's, you said 8. No, I think he's 8-2 against rookie quarterbacks. Chargers opened the season with 3 straight division wins. Very impressive. The Giants have 3 straight losses, 2 in the division. I think it's a long afternoon for the Giants with the clock ticking on Daboll to wind up being fired. The Commanders over the Falcons, I agree. 1.5 point spread. Actually, it shifted over to the Falcons because of Daniels and McLaurin not being able to play. But when I picked, it was the Washington 1.5, and I think they will win this game. Even without Jaden Daniels, I like the Commanders to beat the Falcons. Penix played so poorly last week, he was benched. His passer rating is 71.3, 58.6% completion percentage, 1 TD and 2 interceptions. That's pretty bad. The offense was shut out against the Panthers. The Panthers have supposedly a terrible defense, starting 6 new players on defense this year, and they were awful last year. The wide receiver coach, Ike Hilliard, was fired, and the offensive coach, Zach Robinson, was moved to from the press box to the sidelines by the Falcons. The EPA per play is 27th. Yards per play is 21st. They're tied with Cleveland for the worst 3rd down conversion rate, together with targeting wide receivers. The Commanders' defense is ranked 20th, 5-point yards per play, 21st in total yards, 329 and 16th, and 5.9 yards per pass attempt. Run defense is number 12. I think the Commanders' offense ranks 7th, 26.7 points per game. And the Falcons' defense, a top 5, allowing 229 yards per game, with a passing D that's second. The Falcons' offense, 31st, with only 14 points per game. So I think the Commanders' strong offense beats the Falcons' strong defense, while the Commanders' weak defense is better than the Falcons' poor offense. So, but I think it will be close. But I'm taking Washington in this game. Panthers at Patriots, -5.5. I think it's a little high. Bryce Young has only one win on the road in 15 tries as a starter. That's horrible. It was last week 30-0 shutout of the Falcons, a fluke? I'm not so sure. The Patriots turned the ball over 5 times last week. Drake May, to me, doesn't look like he's learned much since last year, turning the ball over twice with an interception, a fumble. He was turning the ball over a couple times every game last year, too. He's got to figure that out. I mean, that's not going to get them anywhere, particularly when everybody else is turning the ball over as well. Stevenson can't be trusted. He had 2 fumbles last week, and as you said, is the highest fumble rate in the NFL, second highest fumble rate, I think. Is it second or is it first?
Second most fumbles since he came to the league.
Fumble rate since he's come into the NFL. The Pats are undisciplined with lots of penalties as well. Christian Gonzalez, I heard, may play. Maybe you heard he isn't. I'm not sure on that. They need him out there, that's for sure. I think the Patriots are going to win to avoid an 0-3 start at home, but I don't think they cover. I think it will be a close game, and I could see the Panthers actually winning this game. But I got my Patriots colors on. I'm a Patriots fan. Versus the Rams. Are the Colts for real? Although they're 3-0, their opponents have gone combined 1-8, so they haven't had a very tough schedule. Their offenses look fantastic. The Rams are a playoff contender, so this is, I'd say, a measurement game for the Colts. The Rams will try to contain Jonathan Taylor and make Daniel Jones beat them. I think that's probably a good strategy. Same strategy they tried against the Eagles, though, and Hurts beat them. But he's a reigning Super Bowl MVP, and Daniel Jones is still got kind of a show us feeling for us. Is he for real? We're going to find out in this game, I think. I question whether Jones can pull out a win. Also, can the Colts slow down the Rams' run game? I think that's questionable. They have a pretty decent running game. I'm rooting for the Colts, actually, but expect the Rams to win and because they're at home, and I think they will cover as well. Jags versus the 49ers. The 49ers are 3-0 and have yet to be at full strength. Either Mac Jones or Brock Purdy with McCaffrey and Pearsall are capable of beating the Jaguars defense that ranks first in takeaways, actually, with 9, fifth in points allowed, and 10th in yards. So the defense is pretty good. Trevor Lawrence's performance, though, it's been terrible in the second half of every game. 56.1 passer rating, completing just 50% of his passes. That's the worst in the NFL. Brian Thomas has caught only 28% of his 25 targets. Travis Hunter has done nothing. As you said, we haven't heard anything from him. They say they're going to try to get him more involved in the offense this week. They'll have their hands full with the 49ers defense that ranks 4th overall, allowing only 265 yards per game. I like the 49ers in this one. Bears versus Raiders. We differ on this one. I'm surprised the Raiders are favored, actually. The William Johnson strategy performance showed it could be successful last week, even though it was ranked the 30th. It was against the 30th ranked Cowboys defense. The Raiders defense isn't much better, ranked 23rd. The Bears have weapons on offense besides William with good receivers and a capable running back who is underachieved. Their offense ranks 10th, so they got the weapons and they got the mind there with Johnson to be able to get it going, and they showed signs of it last week. But as you said, they were playing against the Cowboys, and their defense is horrible. The Raiders only have Geno Smith on offense and not much else. Gente's been a disappointment. And Bowers, as you said, he's not playing like last year, that's for sure. They rank 17th. It may be a little easier for them against the 29th ranked Bears defense, and as you said, the Bears defense is banged up. Even though the Raiders are at home, I'm picking the Bears in this one. Packers versus Cowboys. Who thought the Cowboys defense would be ranked 30th and be without Micah Parsons when the season began? They rank last in passing yards allowed with a great game by Russell Wilson, no less, who is now benched. They rank 27th in scoring. The Packers offense should have a field day, I think, against Dallas. The Dallas offense missing CD Lamb will have it even tougher against the Packers defense that's ranked number 3 overall. I think the Packers win this one relatively easily. Jets versus Dolphins. Why is the Jets defense ranked only 12th when it has been their strength the past 3 years? I think poor coaching, which is on Aaron Glenn. He's supposed to be a defensive wizard and was at Detroit. They're 14th against the pass and 23rd against the run. They got to find a way to improve on that. However, the Dolphins are even worse. They're ranked 26th, 21st against the pass, 28th against the run. On offense, the Jets are ranked 25th and the Dolphins 23rd. I think it's going to be an ugly game. How can the Dolphins passing game be ranked 21st? I think that's on McDaniel. Justin Fields is out, so Tyrod Taylor will start again, which is, I think, a plus because he played well last week and now he has the rust off. I predict an ugly win by the Jets with a chance that McDaniel will be fired after the game. And the Bengals at the Broncos. The Bengals were annihilated against the Vikings, behind by 38-3 at halftime with Carson Wentz at quarterback for the Vikings. I think their defense is a big problem again this year, ranked 25th. And without Joe Burrow, the offenses did nothing. The Broncos' defense is better than its 14th ranking and will put a lot of pressure on Browning, who won't be able to handle it. Bo Nix, who has been terrible so far, 64% completion, 178 yards a game, 5 TDs to 3 interceptions, 83 passer rating. But he started out terrible last year, too. And as you said, Sean Payton isn't a great September coach. So I agree with you. I think they'll be getting it together, and I think they'll win this game. I think he'll have more, Bo Nix have more luck against the porous Bengals defense, plus the Broncos playing at home. So I like the Broncos to win that game, and those are my picks.
I will say, 12th is not bad for a defense if you're the Jets.
Yeah.
12th's not bad.
Well, they were ranked a lot higher
third.
than that under Saleh, and look how Saleh's got the San Francisco's defense playing. They're ranked right up there, too.
But we'll see next week. Thursday Night Football is Rams and 49ers, so we'll see what Robert Saleh's defense can do next week. This week, it shouldn't be too much of an issue because Trevor Lawrence just isn't playing very well. So we'll wait and see. It is time, as always, my Harvey Hot Hand. For those who know what the Harvey Hot Hand is, it is basically where I pick the 5 best games to bet on. We're already technically 1-0. We'll do 6 total picks for the week, but 1-0 this week because Seahawks told you Tuesday that for some reason the plus 1.5 for Seattle made no sense just based on the history and also that the Seahawks are just a better team overall. So ultimately, we're going to go with 5 picks for today, 6 total for the week. So let's start off. First pick of the Harvey Hot Hand, which is
Browns at Lions.
Give me the Lions here. It's a massive point spread, but this should be an absolute blowout. The Browns got lucky last week beating Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. An inexplicable interception, which basically almost got returned all the way for a touchdown, but it said 2-yard line Joe Flacco with an easy touchdown pass. Meanwhile, the Lions, though, after week 1 against the Green Bay Packers, looking completely just out of touch, out of mind, really being shut down by the defense, and Jared Goff looking really poor, and Sonic and Knuckles not doing their job, they've bounced back. One massive win against the Chicago Bears, and a very nice victory over the Baltimore Ravens, playing very well on both facets of the game, offense and defense, really slowing down Lamar, especially late and in the red zone, which is massive. Penei Sewell versus Myles Garrett. That's going to be the matchup of the day. I'll give it to Penei Sewell, who has probably been the best offensive lineman for the last 2 seasons. And also, I think Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, who just had 4 touchdowns combined last week, 2 each. They'll dominate. The Lions pass rush will get to Joe Flacco, force him under pressure to maybe make some bad decisions or take some sacks. I have the Lions winning 28-14, covering the 9.5 point spread. The next one.
Chargers at Giants.
This one's a bit rough. I'm going to take the Chargers here. Jackson Dart right now, he's unfortunately making his first start against probably the best coach against rookies. He's 8-0 for his coaching career against rookies, 4-0 as the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, and he's 7-3 against the spread against these rookies. Herbert is playing at an MVP level. The running game is starting to pick it up a little bit with Omeri and Hampton, and also the defense has been really, really good. Khalil Mack, was he washed? Should they have let him go? That's the question was. They need to get rid of Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack in order to make some cap space. They figured out with Khalil Mack, and he's making a massive impact. Keenan Allen looks young. He looked a little slow on the Bears. He comes to Los Angeles. Oh, my God. He's back. Keenan Allen's back. Quentin Johnson, after not being able to catch a cold, is now catching massive passes and touchdown catches as well. So the Chargers are clicking on all cylinders here, and Jackson Dart making his first start with a defense that's underwhelming and an offense that needs to figure it out because Malik Neighbors, he's really it. They have no running game. Their offensive line is not great. Tight end group is non-existent. And Wan'Dale Robinson, last year at least, was the most ineffective third down wide receiver. He's made a couple nice catches here and there, but ultimately, the Giants are not that talented offensively. And Jackson Dart, your first start against the Los Angeles Chargers, it's unfortunate. Give me the Chargers 30-13. They cover the 6.5-point spread. The next one.
Saints at Bills.
This one's interesting. Another massive point spread, 15.5. Give me the Buffalo Bills here. Spencer Rattler is winless. Not against good teams, not again, not in 45-degree weather like Tua. No, he's just winless overall. He has not won a singular game. And the last time we saw him, he was getting blown out by the Seattle Seahawks, then nearly let Kyler Murray go out and beat them. So I think it's a little bit interesting. And also against the Seahawks, you blink and they're down 21-0. I think it'll be a similar thing here because we saw James Cook over the last few weeks just absolutely dominate. Keon Coleman in week 1 against the Ravens could not be stopped. Dalton Kincaid against the Miami Dolphins did a very, very nice job. So the Bills have a lot of talent offensively, and I think that's the offense going to really shine in this game. I have them putting up 34 points here. I think overall, though, the defense is a little bit worrisome, but going against a quarterback that has not won a singular game should be an easy task. It's just a question of can they keep their foot on the gas and come out with a blowout victory? I think they will. They'll get to Spencer Rattler, force him into some mistakes. Give me the Buffalo Bills covering the 15.5-point spread. They win 34-16.
Packers at Cowboys.
The revenge game. Everybody's picking them in this one, including me. CeeDee Lamb is injured. Their starting center Cooper Beebe is injured. Tyler Booker, their starting guard, is injured. A bunch of players are out. Dallas Cowboys, 32nd ranked passing defense. The Eagles didn't want to pass, so that game was closer than it should have been. But the Bears, you made Caleb Williams look like an all-pro quarterback, 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Cowboys just have a terrible, terrible pass defense overall. They are really, really bad. The offense is okay. The offense is not the worrisome part here. But, with Micah coming back to Dallas less than a season after, we're only talking about like a month or two since he got traded. So I think right now this is a revenge game. Jordan Love and this offense is not going to put up 10 points like they did against the Cleveland Browns because going up against a porous defense like Dallas, who have the 2 worst defensive backs, Elam is led up the highest passer rating when targeted. He's getting cooked. Trayvon Diggs, same thing with him. He's getting cooked. Deron Bland should be back, but he's not a tremendous defensive back. I don't think it'll make much of a difference. This should be a blowout victory. I think just because the offense is good enough, it'll put up some points here and there, but this is a big-time revenge game. Give me the Packers 31-20. It's an emotional game. We saw what some emotional games look like. Week 1, Rodgers and Justin Fields, they went at it, swapped teams, and they put up massive points. Since then, both teams look terrible. So it's one of those emotional games. I think the Packers are going to blow them out. Give me the Packers 31-20. They cover the 6.5-point spread. And the bonus, the 6th pick or the 5th pick of the Harvey Hot Hand for today's show, but the 6th pick overall for the week is
Vikings at Steelers.
This one should be relatively easy, I think, for the Minnesota Vikings. Even though Carson Wentz will be their starting quarterback, I do have them winning and covering because Minnesota is 4-0 in regular season international games. They've been very, very dominant. They've beaten the Steelers. That was their first international game back in 2013. 2017, it was the Cleveland Browns. 2022 was the Saints. And 2024, it was the New York Jets. They made an embarrassment of the Cincinnati Bengals last week. Isaiah Rodgers broke a record for PFF, having a 99.9. You can't get higher than that. They just made it a complete embarrassment of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Carson Wentz played an effective offense. He really, went into the offense. Jordan Mason had a couple good runs. So overall, the Vikings are going to be fine. The Steelers, they should have lost to the New England Patriots. It's just the Patriots literally handed them the game. Rodgers got outplayed by Drake May. He had, I believe, an interception or 2. It wasn't a good day for Aaron Rodgers. It wasn't a good day for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think ultimately the Steelers will lose this game. They'll put up a couple points here and there, but they don't really have a great running game. I think they're going to try to focus more on the run to get that going to hopefully help Aaron Rodgers out. But against the Vikings defense, I don't see many openings for Rodgers. I think under pressure, he's the second worst quarterback. I think he's 6 of 22 pass attempts. So, 6 of 22 completion. Under pressure, worst in the league by far. I mean, what are we expecting? A 40-year-old quarterback under pressure? It's not going to look good. So give me the Vikings here to win 27-21. They cover the 2.5 point spread. And those are my technically 6 picks of the Harvey Hot Hand because I had Seattle winning on Thursday. So we're 1-0 so far. If you want to support the show, down below, use the link. If you spend $10 on Dr. Squatch, you get 3 free limited time bricks. That's a value of $24. Absolutely free for new customers. Thanks for supporting the show. And as always, I have you critique me and tell me, where I'm going wrong and maybe what teams I should have picked for the Harvey Hot Hand for this week.
I don't disagree with any of your picks this week.
Interesting.
I look at the other ones, and I think that you've picked the ones that probably have the best chance to win.
Okay.
And cover.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The other one.
I mean, I look at the Jets and the Dolphins. You can't pick that one. They're both terrible.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah. And the Panthers, Patriots, you can't trust the Patriots. They turn the ball over so much. The Colts, Rams.
I was thinking about that.
That
would be my 7th.
The Colts, really, this is a measuring stick for them. You got to think, though, they've got a lot of confidence, right? The way they've won those 3 games. So I think they'll make it close, but I think you were wise not to pick that one.
It was my 7th.
The Bears and the Raiders, you've got the Raiders.
That's a stay away game for me.
Yeah. So I agree with the ones you picked.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So that wraps it up. We'll obviously discuss all of week 4 in the, on Tuesday's show. We'll break down and also preview Thursday night game of Rams 49ers on Tuesday's show. But for the time being, my name's Nathan Harvey. That's been Stephen Harvey. We have been your host of the Harvey Hour. Catch us Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll recap all of week 4. You'll do your weekly recap, as we always love here on the Harvey Hour. So, yeah, make sure you stay tuned for that Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
Hey, one more thing.
Sure.
Red Sox Magic #1.
There you
You
go.
got 3 games to win 1 game. Can they do it? We'll see. Good night, Grandpa.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.